Hi, I'm Juliahenze, an artist, urban sketcher, and art teacher dedicated to guiding you on your creative journey. I'm also the founder of Brave Brushes Studio, a membership for amateur artists and urban sketchers that will help you unlock your creativity and find peace and joy in the process. In today's video, I'll be sharing my 10 favorite sketches from 2024. Before I set any goals for my sketching practice this year, I want to reflect on my sketches from last year with fresh eyes. I'll start by thinking about why I like each sketch individually. Is it because of the technique I used, the color combinations, or maybe the memories associated with a particular sketch? Then I'll take a look at all the sketches together to consider any common themes that arise. This will help me work out my key takeaways from the year and changes I want to make to my sketching practice moving forward. Reflecting on your past work is a key part of developing your own style over time and stay motivated in your sketching practice. So take a moment to grab your own sketches from 2024 and let's get started. Okay, let's take a look. First of all, I have to say that there is no real timeline in my sketches. I will do more a random order. It's just, I think it's easier for me to talk about my sketches. Okay, so the first sketch is really my favorite sketch of maybe of all the sketches even, because I can remember that I was sitting there. It was an evening, a summer evening, and it was a very, very nice weather. And I grabbed my bike and I went to this river. It's not a river, by the way. It looks like a river, but it's actually a lake. And I went there and found this place, and I saw this skyline and this boat, and I thought, oh, this is what I want to paint or sketch. And I sat there and I was enjoying so much the weather, the people who went along me, and nobody asked us something, by the way. They all just watched me drawing and enjoying their walk. And I was sitting there in the grass and I was also enjoying the view and painting, sketching, of course. And actually, that was after we did an adventure called Basics of Sketching Water in Brave Brushes. And this was the moment that I thought, I know how to paint water, and that was a kind of realization that it really worked for me to practice a lot and to do a lot of exercises, and in the end you master your paint, your brush, the technique, and it really starts to become easier. And if you think that I can draw and paint everything, it's not the case. It's definitely something that you, or also me, of course, have to practice, have to learn some things. I don't paint water every day, so sometimes, for example, I haven't done it for a few months now, and if I want to do it again, I will probably need some practice again before I can paint something like this. But I was very satisfied about how it turned out, the colors, everything, but especially the warmth of the evening and how I remembered this beautiful moment is something that is very important for me about this sketch. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. This was before the previous sketch, and this was actually the first time that I started to paint water. It's, by the way, it's the same lake, but a different place. This is another place, but I just really like this whole spread, and I wanted to show you as a spread, not only this sketch, but actually I have very nice memories about this sketch because it was quite a struggle. As you can see, this is not a sketch, it's really a watercolor painting. There is no fine liner, no colored pencils. It's only watercolor on cotton paper. And here I practiced quite a lot of things. I practiced painting water reflections, and it was kind of difficult in the beginning. I can remember that I even had to remove this part first, and that's the benefit of painting on cotton paper, because you sometimes can remove paint from your paper. And then, I repainted it maybe even 2 times before I was quite satisfied. And also, layering and painting loosely was quite a challenge for me here. Yeah, layering is something that I don't do that much. I usually paint at once, or at least in 2 layers, like here, for example. I painted the first layer, just midtones, the water also, and then I only added the shadows as a second layer. Here are more layers. I added, I don't remember exactly, but the boat, for example, had more layers. I started with the lightest red color and then added darker and darker colors to make it more three-dimensional. I mean, add more volume. And later I also added these shadows when the paint dried. This is a real sketch, and this is also a part of my practicing for this basics of sketching water adventure in Brave Brushes Studio. And I actually love doing that, even if it was quite a challenge. Painting water was really a challenge for me at the beginning, but after practicing a while, it became such a fun thing to do. Really enjoyable. This is also a practicing for the same adventure, and as you can see also here, I was already quite sure about how to paint reflections like this from the masts, for example. Okay, let's go over to the next one, and this is something very different. As you can see, this is a collage technique, and this was another Brave Brushes adventure. Adventure is a course in Brave Brushes Studio, a monthly course that we had last 2 years, actually, from the beginning of Brave Brushes. Every single month we had a themed course with, for example, different techniques or different topics like perspective or color theory or composition or something like this. For example, this is a mixed media technique. And I want to say that all these monthly courses are in the Brave Brushes library. So if you become a member of Brave Brushes Studio, you can do them any moment at your own pace. This was really a lot of fun to do, because here I practiced, especially this was one of the live streams in Brave Brush Studio after that course, and here we practiced with applying different materials and textures to tone paper. And as you can see, it looks quite fun. This tutorial was absolutely one of my favorites of this year. It was so freeing, a bit unpredictable and very playful. I think it's such a nice thing for all of us to play around with the pieces of paper, colored pencils, and other materials without being too serious about the outcome, don't you think? You're just like a child playing with pieces of paper. You can apply them to your paper, glue them, and see how it works. And if it doesn't, you can place them somewhere else. And then you add some colored pencils to your artwork. I don't know. I heard a lot of very nice comments about this live stream from Brave Brushes. So that was a lot of fun to do for me and also for the members of Brave Brushes Studio. The next one is actually also from the same adventure. And if you think that I only show you the pictures from adventures, it's not the case. I will show you also do another things, but this is also something that was a lot of fun for me to do, because here I was a little bit less experimenting with textures. However, you can see that also textures play here quite a huge role, but this one was more about colors, light and shadow, because toned paper is not very easy to use. You have to think in a different way about that, because if you add shadows, for example, you should be much darker than you usually do. For light, it's even more complicated. Usually your white paper is light, but here you have to think about what colors you are going to use to add light. And it looks very easy, but if you start doing it, sometimes it's it's quite a complicated thing to do. So practicing and experimenting is very important here. But it's also very enjoyable. Believe me, if you start doing that, you can't you can't just stop anymore. Okay, the next one. The next sketch is also one of my favorites. I love this one so much. And I've made this sketch before I went to Groningen. It's a city in the Netherlands, in the north of the Netherlands, and I gave there a workshop for the group of urban sketchers. And before that, I had to draw something to promote this workshop. And I really loved this technique. The workshop was about the loose sketching technique, expressive sketching technique, and I actually, felt in love with this technique. Maybe also, I used it before, but especially with this sketch, I thought this is the technique I want to use much more in my sketches, and I did it. You think it was, this sketch was after this sketch, but it's the other way around. Sometimes I use my sketchbook in a random order. And for someone, maybe it looks a little bit weird, but this is how I am, and this is how it works for me. So I don't really care about what other people think about how my sketchbook looks like. Anyways, so I run this workshop in Groningen, in the north of the Netherlands, and now I do it also in my own studio near Rotterdam. And if you're in the Netherlands, you can go to my website and see when I run this workshop next year. It will be in February, but I will probably do it more often. Because I really love this technique, and it's not that we always draw the central station of Groningen, but usually I show two different techniques that will help you to create very loose, very interesting sketches and apply them to your own references. So I really teach you how to apply my techniques to your own sketches. Okay, so here it's, I don't know, the color, how expressive it is, everything. What I see here is just very lovely for my eyes. I hope you also like this sketch as much as I do. These textures here, all this splattering, color combination, the looseness of the brush and the pencil strokes. I don't know, I really love it. This is another sketch I also like a lot, and this is something that is a little bit the same as this first sketch with the boat. It's somewhere in my neighborhood, and the day that I went there to this place, I was a little bit down. I think I had quite a difficult year, and this is something that helped me maybe to process a lot of things, and also just calm down and find peace and joy in my life. And here I started with just a spot of color, and then I added all these textures, all these shadows later. And I really love how the water turned out. It looks so beautiful, I think, these textures. I got these textures because I think I used ultramarine blue here, and it's the color that helps you create textures anyway. It's granulating color, a very nice color to add to your sketches. And also the textures here in the background. I also love the color combination in general. I think turquoise is one of my favorite colors. I added here and a little bit in the sky to create a more cohesive picture. I also love how the leaves turned out. I didn't paint every single leaf, of course. I never do this, but you see it as a kind of bunches of leaves, I think. So I think it's a very nice picture also. The shadows have a very lovely color. That was at the beginning of the fall, I think. I'm not even sure when I painted this sketch. Maybe it was in the summer. No, I can remember that the weather started to get colder. No, it was in the beginning of the fall, early September, I think. Okay, anyways, let's take a look at the next sketch I also like. This was a few weeks later, I think, but the weather was much nicer then. It was very, very warm, and I can remember that I had this song on, Just a Perfect Day by Lou Reed, and it's a very beautiful song. And when I look at this picture, I always think about this song. It's just in my head. Just a perfect day. I don't want to sing more because I really can't sing, but yeah, it's a very nice sketch that reminds me about this beautiful day at the period of time and about how nice it is to sit somewhere, enjoying your own company, the weather, and your favorite hobby, sketching. Okay, let me see. The next one, these are two sketches from October, and again, I love this spread as a whole and not really one of the other sketch, but I want to tell you especially about this sketch. If you watched my Inktober video when I was drawing this lamp, then you know that I wasn't that satisfied about this sketch at the end of the live stream. But I realized later when I took a look at this sketch, when I started to draw this sketch, I looked at this sketch and I saw that it was really, really beautiful. So here's a tip for everyone. Sometimes you can't see the beauty of the sketch right away. So it always makes sense to look at it later with fresh eyes. Very often we have expectations about what we want to draw, and if it turns out in a different way, then we are disappointed. But the different way can also be a very nice way, a very you can create a very beautiful sketch, but not exactly what you expected from it to be. Okay, and anyway, even if you really don't like your sketches, don't throw them away, because it's a very nice way to see your progress. Because if you never look at your old sketches, then you don't know that you make progress, and it's really necessary to see how much better you get to step by step become a better artist. So that's about the sketch. I really love the contrast between the thicker lines, the shadows, and the background, very soft background, yeah, with thinner lines. This is actually the 10th sketch that I wanted to show you. And this was, I think, the most challenging sketch from the whole year. It was a real struggle for me because this is hot pressed paper and it's very smooth. I usually use cold pressed paper because I love the texture, but I also love how the watercolor behaves on a cold pressed paper. When I started to paint on this paper, I was so excited about the flowers that I got from a very close friend of mine, and I wanted to capture the beauty of the flowers, and I put this large spots of paint on the paper, and then I thought, I don't know how to apply shadows actually to all these petals. I don't know how to make this picture look beautiful. I have the spots, but I don't know how exactly to paint flowers. I almost never paint flowers. So as you can see, I left these flowers quite abstract. But this one in the center, in the middle of the picture, I wanted to paint it really realistically, which is not my own style, as you know, to focus on this. And I wanted to add shadows and darker colors to this flower to create more contrast, to make more interest in the sketch. And I can remember that I had a moment that I thought, no, it wouldn't work. I don't know how to create a beautiful picture. I had these flowers and I was quite excited about them, but this one wasn't good. But step by step, and this is why, again, a cotton paper is a very nice paper to work on, because you can add more layers, change and refine things. You can make your picture more and more beautiful step by step. So you need a lot of patience and a lot of confidence that it will be all right. And then you will end up with a very nice sketch. I think it's just a very beautiful sketch in the end. Okay, so these are all of them. I wanted to show this one. It's the 11th one then, but it's just a very nice sketch that we also did in Brave Brush Studio. It's maybe not my favorite sketch, but it's a sketch that makes me even smile, I think, because the colors are nice. And if you think that this reference was very, very beautiful and very exciting, it wasn't. It was a very boring reference picture, but by adding bright colors, by adding shadows, by adding different shades of green, I created a nice picture, and we have this tutorial in Brave Brushes Studio. So if you are in Brave Brushes, you can follow this colored pencils tutorial and learn how to create a picture like this. And it just makes me happy when I look at it. Okay, so reflecting on all my sketches from this year, I think that I want to say about that. Yeah, it sounds maybe like, of course, you would say, of course, the more you practice, the better you become. But even for me, even for someone who is a professional artist, believe me, also for me, it's very important to practice. As you look at these two pictures, the first one, this was, by the way, also one of the pictures with water, and you can see that the water here, the reflections in the water are not that beautiful as here, because I practiced with painting water. So really, it's not that much about it's totally, by the way, it's totally not about your talent, but it's more about how much you want to practice, how much you allow yourself to make mistakes and to get better, just doing things over and over again. And that's the most important thing, besides the enjoyment, of course, that you have while doing that. Also, as I said, pictures, this picture and this picture and also this picture brought me moments of relaxation and enjoyment. And I think it's very important to realize that even during complicated times, during times that we don't know what to do, or maybe are stressed, or I don't know, whatever it is, it's very important to keep sketching, to keep painting, to keep drawing, because it brings you so much rest and peace and joy in your life, more than anything else, I think. And the last thing that I want to say, as I already mentioned, sometimes, especially with these two sketches, sometimes you need time to get used to your picture. For example, look at it later, or keep going and trying to make your sketch better. Well, it looks like it wouldn't work here. Just keep going, keep adding details or shadows, and usually it will turn out better anyway. And finally, my goal for 2025. That's to master watercolor painting. Not sketching, but painting, really. Now it's your turn. Gather all the sketches from last year in one place and choose your favorite 10 sketches. Look at them together and consider whether any common themes emerge that you can action in your practice going forward. And if you've just started sketching recently, you can of course do this exercise with the sketches that you have. Let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaways are from sketching practice in 2024. What do you want to focus on in 2025? That's all for today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Happy sketching, guys, and I'll see you very soon.